Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk Parks with BerryDunn. My name is Becky Dunlap, and I'm excited that you're tuning in today. Somehow, it is 2024. Wow. I don't know when you're listening to this, but it is January 2024, and time flies. I don't know if it's having a toddler or if it's like this fun new thing that happens when you get older, but time is just flying by. I have been doing other things, and it's been good. It's been refreshing. I've really been focusing, one, on my family and just trying to have like quality time with them and not miss those precious moments of my son in toddlerhood. A lot of my energy has been focused on internal projects, making solutions, like learning technology, helping my teammates, doing client work. And that has been such a fun new challenge. I cannot even tell you how supported I feel, how much autonomy I feel I have, how I'm able to use the skills and strengths that I feel like suit me to help our team. And it's just the best feeling when that comes together. And so part of that looks like understanding like when to push forward on things and when to pull back. You can't do everything all the time. I've learned this. I continue to learn this. But this year, we're going to have a new format. We are going to make these episodes shorter. We're talking 5, 10, 15-minute episodes. This is really in an effort to simplify, to get more episodes out, and also just to make it easier to listen to them and get what you need out of it. So I'm excited for this format. I hope it works well for you all, and appreciate upfront if you have the opportunity to share these episodes with a friend or colleague. In this first episode, I want to just talk about the differences between strategic planning and master planning. We've got a number of interviews to feature in this series, including from Barbara Heller, who has been such an integral part in helping BerryDunn launch its Parks, Recreation, Libraries practice. She's just got so much experience in this area. So we're going to hear from her. She's been on the podcast before. We're also going to hear from Allie Busage from Penn Met Parks in Gig Harbor, Washington, more so in the upcoming episode. And we're going to learn everything about why they decided to do a strategic plan, why they, decided on the specific timing of it, how they reimagined their vision and values, and how they reaffirmed their mission statement. And then we'll talk about implementation as well. So those are what's upcoming in this series. Master planning, strategic planning, that's things that we do on a regular basis here at BerryDunn. And I'm excited to learn more throughout this process too, because there's always more to learn. And I especially love being able to share that with you all. So I wanted to ask Barbara Heller up front, does every organization need a strategic plan? Like, is it necessary?
Yeah, I think that by and large, every organization needs a strategic plan. And I think it seems daunting, but a strategic plan can be very simple. In fact, I think the best strategic plans are very succinct, to the point. It doesn't have to be some huge 500-page plan. It could be 5 pages. It could be 10 pages. So it's not as complex as what some people make it to be. And I think the complexity has to do with that there is a very low success rate for plan implementation. And it's because everybody focuses on building the plan when the focus needs to be on implementing the plan.
I think this is so true. And in my mind, I do think that there's value in the process of doing it. You're going to learn so much, whether it's talking with your staff, talking with the community, whatever it may be, there is value in that and in the journey, as they say. But there is also tremendous value in the implementation and being able to focus on that and understanding what does it actually look like for us to operationalize this strategic plan into our everyday work. So I 100% agree. But tell me about some agencies who decide to mix the strategic plan with the master plan. What does that look like? Is that a good idea?
Some agencies these days like to combine strategic plan with a system-wide master plan. That to me is tough because you're then faced with a tremendous number of recommendations. It just seems daunting to me. I like to separate the two. And some agencies will do a master plan first and followed with strategy. Others will do strategy followed by master plan. And my bias is towards starting with strategy. That's the most macro level that you're going to take a look at your organization. But there's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's whatever works best for your organization.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure it's dependent on the specific organization and circumstances. But can you dive into a little bit more around the differences between a master plan and a strategic plan? Like what's different about the components? And then also talk a little bit about engagement and what's different between those two planning efforts.
There's no common accepted vernacular to term these different plans. But the way I look at the differences is the master plan, or some people call it a comprehensive plan, really deals with the bricks and mortar, the physical assets and services such as recreation programming. Conversely, the strategic plan deals more with the leadership infrastructure. Where strategically do we want to go? Now, when you think about community engagement, everybody always wants to make sure everybody's included and has an opportunity to participate in these planning endeavors. My bias is really get people engaged in a master plan, a system-wide master plan. The communities will certainly know what their thoughts are about park land that's missing, park amenities that might need to be improved or developed, certain recreation programs that are needed to be done. But if you were to ask the community, tell us a little bit about the strategic direction of our park and recreation department or district, they have a much more difficult time coming up with visions for the future. And to me, it behooves us as an industry and as organizations within the industry to have clear ideas of really projecting the future, what's coming down the pipe, down the road. So in essence, what I would say is that if you rely heavily on the community and community input into a strategic plan, it's only going to get you to a certain level because the people are much more rooted in the here and now and the tangible assets that are a part of a park and recreation system. So I like to spend all the effort on community engagement on a system-wide master plan. But it's a tough sell because I know a lot of directors that I work with will say, well, no, we've got to include some community engagement.
I think, Barbara, you make a great point around the community engagement. And especially if you're going to do both efforts, just make sure that those resources are distributed in a way that makes sense. So if we're just going to focus on strategic planning, maybe there's not so much community engagement. Maybe there is. Again, it depends. But what are some of the key elements that are absolutely core to every strategic planning effort?
There are different ways of tackling it, but what I like to do is really focus a lot on the development of mission, vision, and values, being very thoughtful about it and making them become meaningful parts to the organization. Also, it's really important to pay attention to changing demographics, to industry trends. Those are some things that should be brought into the strategic planning process. When you think about the recreation and park industry, what are the effects of artificial intelligence on the way we operate?
Strategic planning can differ for each organization, and I think everyone has a slightly different reason of why they're doing it and what they're trying to get out of their planning effort. But I think what Barbara's saying around the vision, mission, and values really being that foundational piece, or at least revisiting that and ensuring that they're still true for you, is really important. And so I'm going to give you a little preview into the next episode where we're going to talk to Allie Busich from PennMet Parks around why they decided to go through the strategic planning process and what played into the timing of that decision.
There's a lot of change in our community. There's population growth. We underwent a global pandemic. So the rate of change seems to be increasing. And for those reasons, it felt like we were at sort of a crossroads and we had the chance to be really strategic about the path we took forward. The district had not had a multi-year strategic plan since it was formed in 2004. As we grew and were growing and are growing as a district, We also felt it was really important that our staff, our stakeholders, our community had a really clear understanding of where the district was headed.
So tune in over the next couple episodes, and you're going to learn more about PennMet Parks, who they are, why they decided to do a strategic plan, how the development of their mission, vision, and values have really helped them to all get on the same page and to ensure that their strategic plan and their master plan gets implemented and utilized. And of course, that's what we care about at BerryDunn, to make sure that the work that you do, the voices that you hear, are all put into action. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of Let's Talk Parks. If there's a colleague or a friend who would appreciate learning more about the strategic planning process and what goes into that, please share this episode with them. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to talking with you all soon. Until next time, let's talk parks.